Hi guys, it's Sue, your Not So Crafty Crafter, here with video take number 827. Oh my gosh, I've been trying to do this video all day long using a new setup with my iPad and my computer, not my computer, just my iPad, but a new tripod setup, and the tripod's not new, but anyway, I keep messing it up big time, and I got a pile of cards that I want to share with you to show you some of the things that I did this holiday season. And I'm really struggling because I can't get the orientation right. Now, trying to put this up there. There we go. See if I need to zoom in. I guess the easiest way to do this is with you right here with me, I guess. Okay, that works, I guess, right? I just don't want all of this. There we go. Hey. Sorry, I'm just trying to get you just right so you don't. There we go. I guess that works, right? Yay. And the cards are right in the right orientation. Woo! Yes! Sorry. Okay, now I can get through this mess on my desk. I'm so excited. You have no idea. I've done this. This will be take number 5. I've done the whole video, gone back to look at it. The first one, everything was upside down. The second one took way too long. The third one, I forgot to mention a YouTube channel, and I thought I cannot do this person justice without mentioning her actual YouTube channel to direct you guys to her. I know I could have edited it and added it in, but it's just easier for me to hit delete and start over. So this is what I've got for you today, folks. Sorry. And again, I don't want to bombard you with things that are 8 hours long either. So jumping right into it, I'm going to move this stuff off screen so we can focus on the actual cards themselves. Now, are those good? Are those right in frame? Those are in frame perfectly. Oh, I love it. I may actually need to put a mark on my thing here so I can see and then figure out my iPad situation after the fact. First thing I have is these cute little note cards. I saw these on the Tim Holtz Christmas release video. One of his design team members made these. They're so stinking cute. And it comes from the Scribbles stamp set. December Doodles. I saw this, and this was the one thing I had to have this year of Tim Holtz. Last year it was a die. This year it was those doodles. These note cards are so stinking cute, and I'm going to make a bunch of these for thank you notes. Instead of stamping it, though, I heat embossed it with gold or red. Sorry, that's very clearly red. Embossing powder from Recollections. Next 3 cards actually are cards made using the cut-aparts in our paper pads. Now, I watch Tina from Cards and Coffee Time, and I also watch Desiree from Include a Thank You. Both of these ladies do a lot with design team stuff, and like the 3 cards, 1 kit, 5 cards, 1 kit type of thing, and they always utilize the pattern paper that comes in those kits, and I just really love that. Like so many crafters, I buy the paper pads, I think they're amazing, and then they sit on a shelf because I don't know what to do with them. These cut-aparts make it very easy. Maymay made it. Maymay from Maymay Made It does this a lot too. She did a series last year of how many cards with 1 paper pack, using all of the paper, all the cut-aparts. And then she made tags this year too, using some paper, just using a pad of cut-aparts. That's all she used, and she made a bunch of tags, and I did buy that pad, and I have used those. So I just love how simple this is, but how neat and clean the cards look as well. Your cut-apart, an embellishment of some type here. I used a very high gloss glitter paper, added a brad, a few dots of Nuvo drops, and a small sentiment. Same with this one. Used that same glitter paper. It was a scrap. Matted it on a piece of cardstock on a white card background to play out the brown and the wood grain in the back, and that little red. Added a ribbon, and we're good to go. This one was a little bit bigger. Oh, for the love of God. That was my phone, folks. Sorry. Giant tag. Punched a hole. Added some twine and a few frosted sequins, and a very pretty top folding card. So that's 3, 4 down. Yay! Next is a watercolor card that I did. I did several of these last year. I didn't do near enough this year. This stamp is from Unity Stamps. It's from last year. What I did is I heat embossed it in gold and then used my Arteza watercolor brush pens to color it. And I used one color for the leaf and one color for the red in the flower. And I just did a technique I've seen several card makers use. Amy R. from Prairie Paper and Ink is one of them. And I think Kelly Latavola does this as well, where you put the concentration of your color in one spot and then pull it out with your brush pen so that you have shading. You have a darker color in the center of your flower and lighter edges, and the same with your leaves. I put the darker color towards the center and pulled it out with my watercolor pen. I just added a few dots of Nuvo drops and heat embossed the sentiment, and you're good to go. I love this card. So pretty. This one, I got inspiration from Therese from Lost in Paper. I just started following her this Christmas season, but you can guarantee it. I've subscribed and I've watched everything she's come out with since. She, I believe, is a design team member or a designer for Penny Black Stamps. And she's been doing some amazing cards with the Christmas series from Penny Black and using their critter stamps as well. So I am now a huge Penny Black fan. When she did a card using this Belle stamp, I ran up to Des Moines the next day to my little scrapbooking store and purchased the stamp set because I knew they had Penny Black stamps. If they didn't have this, there were several others to choose from, but they did have the Belles, and I grabbed them. And it's a very basic stamp set. You can stamp it in a single color because it is a solid stamp, but it's rustic in nature in that it's very splotchy. And it's not anything negative about the stamp. It's just the nature of the stamp. What's neat about it, and what Therese has shared, is that even with these solid stamps, you can use your Copic markers or your paints, stamp it in a lighter shade, like your lighter beige, or your lighter grays, your no line, the inks you use for your no line coloring, and you can still get a painted or Copic colored look on that with your shading because the shading's already in place. And I thought that was just ingenious. This is just stamped using Stampin' Up! Red ink, and I added a couple of brads. This is a bell, and then a couple of red and green brads and a sticker. And then I stamped the inside, Jingle All the Way. And I just love that card. These next two cards showcase another Tim Holtz product. This is the Burst Stencil. Put them in there together so you can see them. This one you can see very clearly I messed up. The stencil was not centered on the card front panel properly. This is centered very clearly. The burst is not. That was my mistake, but I still went ahead and finished the card with the idea that I had. I really, really liked the way that turned out. The next one, I used that same Rejoice, that same burst stamp, or stencil, sorry, the same burst Tim Holtz stencil, and then I stamped and embossed this pretty nativity scene. My only concern was it seemed like this was competing with the burst, and it was just too much, and it was, I don't know how else to describe it. It was just too much. So what I did is I filtered it down a little bit by putting a piece of vellum over it, and I heat embossed my sentiment on top of the vellum. You can still see the burst, but it's not as in your face. And then I just used a piece of gold washi to join them together so that there's no seam. And I love this. Very pretty. Next two stamps were inspired by Kelly Latavola. Another one that I just started following this past year, probably over the summer. And I've been following her more and more as we get through the Christmas season. She recently did a stamp where she used teal and red and said it was one of her favorite color combinations. And in my mind, I just could not put that together on my own. It just isn't something that I would choose. But I thought her card was stunning. So I went ahead and I tried it. And I used one of my Prima Paper Doll girls and colored her with my Spectrum Noir markers. Added a little bit of Wink Costello around the trim of her dress so it would pop. And then added some Nuvo glitter drops on the cuff of her boot to give it a little bit of a Christmassy accent, and just used some red and turquoise sequins to dress it up a little bit. Now this is not a traditional sized card. This is a 9.5 by 4 inches. Yes. Excuse me, a 9.5 by 4 inch card base. And then the card panel was cut down just a little bit to fit. And then I used a piece of pattern paper from a paper pad I bought last year at Michael's. But I just love the color combination and how this turned out. So definitely check out Kelly's videos. She does an amazing job with Copic coloring, and she's an amazing teacher. She might not ever say that she considers herself a teacher, but I've learned so much watching her and following some of the techniques she uses when she's using her Copic coloring, you know, using her Copic markers to color her cards. So lots of great tips there. This is another one of the same color combination. This is a teal Stampin' Up! Ink. And this is a Concord and 9th turnabout stamp set. And this is the Christmas Cheer turnabout stamp set from last year. Now they had several come out this year, and I'm regretting not getting one of them. But I do love this one, and this is very versatile. I will use this one for years to come. Now this is stamped 4 times, 3 times using the teal ink, and then the 4th time I used my Versamark ink and heat embossed it with that same red Recollections glitter embossing powder, and I think that turned out really cute. I'm not sure I love the vellum sentiment, but I'm one that likes a sentiment on the front of a card. So, excuse me, I guess I'll have to rethink that one. But again, really pretty color combination. So thank you for the inspiration on that, Kelly. This next card is inspired by a card I saw, and I apologize if I butcher the name, Yana Smakula, do on her YouTube video. She used a larger roll type of washi, and it covered her card base. So that was her background paper, was this washi. And it was so stunning, but I didn't have anything like that in my stash. But I did pull out this woodsman themed washi here with the bears and the deer and the squirrels on it, and put it on a piece of cardstock, a panel, and then die cut this retro Merry Christmas from, this is a Tim Holtz die from last year. And this was one of the ones, like this year I had to have the doodles, this die, I had to have this die set. So, excuse me. Excuse me. I think this turned out, excuse me. All right, I think this turned out really, really nice. It didn't need anything extra with the glitter cardstock and the die cut. And I think this would be a very, very good card, a fine masculine card is what I'm trying to say, to share this with a gentleman friend or family member. So just keep that in mind and use that washi, man. We all know we have way too much of it. I know I do, and I'm not using it the way I was intending to. This card is the negative. This red piece is the negative of that die that you just saw on that previous card. This sat on my desk for quite a while, and I didn't know what to do with it, but I didn't want to cut it up until I had it figured out. I had it in my hand the other day, and I was looking at it, and I was kind of cleaning off my space, and I just kind of tossed it back on my desk, and it landed on top of a piece of scrap glitter silver cardstock that I had. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe gold would look better. And I just threw the two together, and this is what I came up with, and it's like a giant glitter bomb went off on this card, but I don't care, I still like it. Very retro 1960s type of look going on there. So very Mad Men, how's that? This next card set is a set that I created using the Flurry 2 die from Tim Holtz. Now this is one I got this year. I do love this die. There it is. I love this die. I love all of Tim Holtz stuff. I mean, he's just amazing. And the stuff he makes and creates is timeless to use over and over again and can be used in so many different ways. I love this die, and this is what I came up with it. The background is watercolored but it's not watercolor paint. I actually used my gelatos and scribbled over a large acrylic block, misted it with water, and just kind of ran my finger through it to blend it a little bit, and put a piece of watercolor paper over it. And this is what I got. Now, one of those gelatos had a little bit of shimmer in it. It was a silver metallic gelato. And it just, you probably can't see it on the camera because it's so faint. But it picks up just a little bit of a tint of shimmer on the paper. Die cut this in silver cardstock and embossed it with silver embossing powder. And I just love how pretty that is. And then this one is the same die using a different color combination of purple and gold. And I love purple, and I don't use it near enough in my cards. So that was one of the things that I was looking for, to figure out ways to use paper that I wouldn't normally use for the holidays. And this is what I came up with. Again, cut out in gold glitter cardstock and then embossed in gold glitter embossing powder on the bottom, and then a top folding card. And then this was my favorite. This is made out of a ink blended background. This is just a basic card panel, and I ink blended spun sugar distress oxide ink on the whole panel. Then I added a silver snowflake, the same die, the Flurry 2 die, and silver embossing, and I just took the sequin off. God. And I think this just came out so pretty. It's so soft and romantic looking, and I just absolutely love that. So I'm going to go ahead and reattach my poor little sequin here, because obviously I didn't do a good enough job. There we go. Hey, is that considered part of a process video? I don't like to do process videos. I don't have the proper editing software. Part of the reason I'm messing around with camera configurations is to see if I can do something where I can make a card live that would require no editing. And I may play with that later this week, since I have some time off for holiday break. Doesn't mean I'm going to share it, but I'll try. I'll play with it and see what happens. But again, this is one of my favorite cards this holiday. I just absolutely love the pink and the silver there. Very non-traditional, but very soft, very elegant, and that's one of my favorite. And it's also very simple. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on here. So, and one of my last, I have 2 cards left. This one is a card that was inspired by a boxed set of cards that I saw in a store while I was shopping this season. The original card can be seen on my Instagram channel, Dolly Boo Designs, DOLLI _Boo, BOO Designs. Shameless plug there for you to go to my Instagram and subscribe. I loved the card in the box so much because the entire background was glitter. And I'm a sparkle girl. It's just who I am. It did have Christmas trees on it, but the Christmas trees were made to look like they were stained glass. And there was no way I could replicate that particular part of the card. But I thought, I have all of this great glitter paper. Why can't I use that as backgrounds? So I came home and I dug into my Cricut white glitter cardstock, because that's what the original card had. It was like a holographic white glitter, clear glitter. Very, 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 very pretty. And I used this Hampton Art stamp set. Now, what I did is I ink blended 3 different colors of Distress Oxide ink: Worn Lipstick, Peacock Feathers, Twisted Citron. And then I used the stamp set, which has these 3 different designs on the trees: the chevron, the polka dots, and then the plaid. I stamped those over using Versamark ink, and then clear heat embossed over that, so that would stand out just a little bit. And then I added some Nuvo glitter drops. I did use the coordinating die that came with this Hampton Art set, and then once they were attached, I added some Nuvo glimmer drops on there, and I think it came out so pretty. And it's not an exact of what was in that card. I don't think anyone could ever duplicate that. I mean, they're mass produced and they were stunning. But I love the color combination because, again, this is outside of my box of thinking. Last year, if you look at any of my videos, and if I shared, I think I shared some of the tags I made, very traditional red and green and gold. Very, very traditional. Maybe a few blue and silver, but that was as far outside of my comfort zone as I got. Using twisted citron and pink and turquoise for Christmas, not in my comfort zone at all, but I love how this turned out. And the last card I played around with, was not a Christmas card. My little stamping store up in Ankeny, Iowa, had the Gina K designed wreath builder set. And I saw it, and I went home without it, and then I watched several videos after the fact, and the next time I went up, I grabbed it. And I did buy the original one with the template. I think the videos I watched were her add-on sets, so that you can make more seasonal wreaths for like Easter and Christmas. And this is just your all-around everyday wreath. I love this sentiment, "You're my favorite human." This was the first one I made right out of the gate, and I think this is so, so pretty. Again, using colors way outside of my comfort zone, like yellow and teal together. I think it just looks absolutely stunning, especially with this teal stamped image. Kind of brings up the teal in here, and then some of these teal sequins. But I will definitely be playing with this stamp set a lot more. Gina K and her daughter, I believe, will be in Ankeny at Memory Bound in February. So if you're in the central Iowa area for any reason in February, check out Memory Bound and get the dates and sign up for her class. I'm really hoping I can swing it. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's the last card I have to share with you. I do want to take a moment to say thank you for all of you that subscribe and some of my new subscribers. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. I know we don't all have all day to sit and watch YouTube videos, so that when you sit and watch mine and give me a thumbs up and a like, know that I appreciate it, because I know it's taken time out of your day to do that. Speaking of, give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Click subscribe and click that bell icon if you want to see more. Like I said, I do a lot of haul videos, and I do stuff like this where I showcase what I've made. I may get back into doing like a what's on my desk type of thing. Last summer I did one. It was called What's Up Wednesday. I didn't get a lot of views, so I stopped doing it. I may bring it back and do it like on a Friday night, because that's when I tend to do most of my crafting, is Friday night and Saturday. I may try and do, with this new setup, see if I can try and do a process video. It will be where everything is pretty much pre-cut, pre-scored, and just putting it together so you can see that part of the process. Again, thank you so much for your time. Love y'all. Take care. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.